So some of you guys might see these old tractor rams. This comes off of a John Deere 540, 540 I believe, front end loader, and this is actually the lift cylinder. So as you can see, I'm getting ready to tear this apart to reseal it. We got oil bypassing the actual piston internally, and we also have the gland is leaking oil out. So how to go about doing this? This might be kind of unique to some of the people that haven't seen this. It's not your typical ram that's in modern days. So what you got is a snap ring. You're going to want to remove the snap ring out of this groove. As you pull that snap ring out, I actually am going to grab a hammer and a punch, and I'm going to drive this ram back, and I'll show you at that point once I get that driven back. So now I've driven this gland back. You can see in there, it's back in there. I went ahead and used a punch. You got to be careful. You might have to start it off with like a aluminum bar like this up against it, and use your hammer and slide in there and hit the aluminum bar to back that in. And then to get in there, use a punch, just a flat blunt end punch to get in there. So what you're trying to expose, if I can get this camera to zoom in there, is there is a clip ring that you have to get out. If you can see it right there, super easy to get out. It's not too hard. A big round clip ring. You're going to want to pull this clip ring out right there, if you can see it, and then you're just going to take this rod. We're just going to pull it out, and it'll pull everything out with it. So now, as you can see, I got this clip ring out. It's just a round clip ring. The easiest way to do it is to get a pair of flathead screwdrivers and lift one lip up and get the other one underneath it and just kind of pry it out. So now, as you can see, I got it out of there, and I'm just going to start pulling on this. Maybe. Let me see if I can get this out, and I'll show you. So now, as you can see, I had to use two hands to grab it and pull it. You can see it coming out. So what this clip ring does is this clip ring sits right here. When it's internal, it's on the inside housing of this, and it will not let this gland come out until this clip ring's been removed. So that's why you got to undo this C clip ring first, and then drive it in so that it exposes this ring. Take these out, and then you can pull it out. So now we're going to remove this here. There it is. There's the gland, and there's the piston. So I'm going to go set this on the bench, and we'll break the nut off, and we'll go from there. So as you can see, I got it out here. Here's your gland, here's your piston. So this is an impregnated gland or piston, where it actually has the wear bands impregnated and tightened onto the steel piston itself. So you're not going to want to remove this. You can see why the oil is bypassing in here. Looks like there's a cut or a split in the wear band, which is okay, but the actual seal itself is this glass impregnated, I believe it's polyurethane, and this is your main seal right here that was split. So oil was bypassing this, causing this cylinder to drift what was under load. So you can see right there that this was bad, and also that's okay if it's got some scarring on there. I'm going to take some emery cloth and actually polish that up, and just kind of take off any of the rough edges, and then we're going to put our seal back on there. As you can see, there's an O-ring down in there that helps force the actual seal to make contact against the cylinder wall or the tube. And so what you'll see here is this gland. I'm going to get this all open and exposed for you. So on this one here, you're going to see that on this gland that I've already resealed this here, and you should have a backing on it as well. The backing I got sent in the seal kit. This is the wrong backing. But anyways, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to polish this up. You can see all the rust in there, and that just makes it next time when you go ahead and put this all in and together, that you won't have a bunch of rust in there. It makes it easier to get this in and out next time whoever reseals it. So I'm going to take and polish off this rust using just emery cloth, and just polish that rust off of the top. And then there's seals in here. You're going to have a wear band down inside there, which is, let's see. You're going to have a wear band, which is this guy you want to change. This is your actual seal. You're going to want to make sure that gap right there is facing towards the back of the cylinder. So this is the inside and that's the outside. So you're going to want to make sure that gap. So here's your new seal. You want to make sure that that seal is facing that way. And then you're going to have this wiper is right here as well. So we got a new wiper in here. This one looks a little different in this seal kit, but that's okay. So the way that this one works, this has a double side, double face. You're going to want to keep on this one, for instance, it would go this way, but I like installing them this way right here. This actually works better as the wiper, the external wiper, than it does the internal. It actually does a better job. You'll notice on some of the bigger rams you get into on excavators, they have the wipers that are similar to this style. So that's how we're going to run it. On the piston, like I was saying, we're going to clean this up and get it all resealed and put all back together. So I went ahead and got all the gland resealed, slid it on. I've got the piston back on with the new piston seal. I've got the new nut on, and what I like to do is throw some red Loctite on here, zip that down. So when you stretch over this, there's a couple things you can do for these seals. They're a little tough to get on. You don't want to tear them. This is the old one where it's been washed out. You can see that the high pressure actually created that hole, kind of unique. That high pressure washed right through that. So what I like to do is I used to actually like to use hose clamps and tighten them down, and they will remember they're kind of like a remembering seal, so they'll go back to being the same size that they were even if they were stretched. So if you put them under a load like this, under pressure, they will return back to the size that they're supposed to be. So this is what I like to do with all of my rams. I think it's the easiest way to get them on without tearing them as you slide the tube up over it. There's this style. You can get a piston clamp. Technically, these are really cheap. I use these all the time. You can get them in different sizes and for redoing multiple rams. And if you got different sizes, this is the best way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this back in to the tube, and we'll be done here. I'm going to show you that coming up. So as I'm getting ready to slide this in, you can see all the rust down in there where that ring sits that holds the gland from coming out. I'm going to take an emery cloth and polish this rust off so I get a better fit, and then I'll actually take some grease and I'll rub grease down inside here, so next time it helps prevent that rust from rusting up.